How's it going, everyone? We are back with another video. As the thumbnail suggests, we've got quite a bit of news to get through, from Halo to Elder Scrolls, House of the Dead 2, among other bits and bobs. It's Sunday and it's a bit of a news roundup video, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. So let's get down to it. First, let's have the drop. So it seems Halo 5 Guardians could be coming to PC, the one final proper Xbox exclusive. I think it's one of the only ones, if not the only one left. If you look at the image that's on screen right now, you can see Halo Guardians right here. Now this could just be an image projection, because you can see a whole bunch of images are here, or it could be something telling. It could just be a placeholder. At the present time, it's completely unknown. But the fact that they've decided to use this one is a little bit on the nose. And well, it could be coming finally to PC. It's the only Halo that hasn't come to PC. And if it does, that would make the whole complete collection from start to finish available on PC. At the moment, you've got the Master Chief Collection, which pretty much covers Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, ODST. You've got Halo 4, you're missing Halo 5, and of course, Halo Infinite is available on there. So what do you think? Will Halo 5 land on there? Leave a comment below, let me know what you think. Alright, so the big one, Elder Scrolls 6 is finally in full development at Bethesda, but fans shouldn't expect too much from the studio in the first half of 2025. Now, if this has just gone into full development, you can pretty much expect it to take another 2-3 years, at the very least another year. So I was maybe suggest that this could be ready for 2026 end of year. There's a small chance of that happening, really depending on how much of it has been developed before they've gone into full development. But at the end of the day, this is quite possibly an Xbox Prime release game. So that will be very, very interesting, especially if the Xbox Prime is a graphical powerhouse. Then this could actually be a pretty really good launch for Xbox coming with the next console. That would actually be pretty damn awesome. I mean, you're looking at quite a few games now. We haven't heard much about Blade, but Blade was touted for a 2026. If Elder Scrolls 6 can fit into that, you've got Gears of War E-Day, you're going to probably have the next Halo. It's looking really spicy right now. And that's not including all the other games like Call of Duty and Starfield expansions and Diablo expansions, any updates to Overwatch. So this could actually be a big launch for Xbox, probably their biggest ever when it comes to the amount of games available day one on the console. So you heard me mention House of the Dead. Well, House of the Dead remake is already available, and now they've made House of the Dead 2 remake. Now the only problem with this is that there's no real light gun support, which is a bit of a shame because these games live and die by the light gun. They kind of need a light gun for this. Now you do have the Shinden light gun, but from what I understand, that is for Time Crisis only. It's been specifically designed for Time Crisis. Now I'd be more than happy for a VR port of this where I can actually just, use the VR controllers, attach it to a peripheral and give me that experience. But using a controller just for this game just kind of feels like I'm missing out. I really do miss the light gun games of old, like Time Crisis, Virtua Cop, House of the Dead, and there's so many more. And it just seems like a genre that's completely and utterly disappeared, that I think would do pretty well in today's day and age if we could actually find a solution for it. As you know, light guns need a CRT TV in order to bounce the reflection to get that point where you're actually aiming at. Now the Shinden light gun, as you can see by Dexter Manning, the one that he's talking about is the one that basically works with LCD screens, but it's very tailored to specific games. And the one that he's talking about is tailored to Time Crisis. So who knows when or if we'll actually get any light guns for this, but it is rather interesting. But you know what else is interesting? If you've made it to this point, you're clearly enjoying the video, do consider hitting that like button and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. Right. Let's continue. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has been nominated for the DICE Awards Game of the Year. This would have definitely got a Game of the Year nomination at the TGA Awards, but unfortunately it released too late. Indiana Jones clearly is my Game of the Year award. You know, it's by far the best game I played last year, even better than the ones that actually won or nominated, because I played almost all of them. Honestly, this hands down is one of the best games available. If you haven't played it, you absolutely are doing yourself a disservice. You really should. Kudos to Machine Games for creating an amazing game, and just go and have fun. So there's a rumor going around that Final Fantasy VII Remake will shadow drop on Xbox on January the 25th, followed by Rebirth in 2026. Now this would be 3 days after the actual developer direct. I am not holding any faith on this. I am not holding any hope on this. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, Sony most likely has a contract with Square Enix that prevents this from going to any other console until all 3 of the games are out. So to me, this is likely an Xbox Prime game rather than an Xbox Series game. But at the same time, who knows? Things are changing, and maybe there actually isn't a contract in place. Time will tell. But if you're holding breath and you've seen this post and holding out that 2020, the 25th of January is going to be that date when you actually get Remake, I would take it with a grain of salt, and I'm talking a lot of salt actually, because I just don't think it's going to happen. Now we could see 16, but 7, I don't see it. Alright, so this one is interesting because CI Games is the latest company to rebel against forced DEI. It seems more and more companies now are pushing back on the whole DEI movement, and they are saying no after they've realized that it's actually causing damage to their games. And as you can see here, recently Arrowhead Studios CCO Johan Palstedt spoke out against forcing DEI into games. He explained that if it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts, suggesting that the titles with forced DEI aren't good games. Now CI Games, the publisher behind Lords of the Fallen, has taken a similar stance against DEI in gaming. In a recent investors chat, the company's global marketing director, Ryan Hill, took an authoritative tone, clearly stating that the company won't integrate any social or political agencies into these experiences because it's just too risky. And clearly, as we saw with Vanguard, Dragon Age Veilguard, I should say, it's actually caused a lot of problems, and it essentially caused the game to fail. Many players do not appreciate this, and at the end of the day, you're making the game for the players and not for your ego or for your political views. You're making it to make money, and so if it's not pandering to what the community wants, you're not going to make money, and if you don't make money, you have layoffs and studio shutdowns, and this is bad, so you shouldn't do it. In a statement secured by Straffa Iwestafro during a recent CI Games investor call, Ryan Hill, who heads up marketing on a global scale on the firm, said, while some video games have recently taken the opportunity to embed social or political agendas, Dragon Age Veilguard, within their experiences, it is clear that many players do not appreciate this, and as a result, we have seen a number of high-profile releases, Dragon Age Veilguard, underperforming commercially during the last year alone. They're also probably referring to Alan Wake, but Dragon Age the Veilguard is probably the biggest one here that fits that bill. Our games will always be developed to maximize player enjoyment and commercial success, and as such, we will not be integrating any social or political agencies into these experiences going forward, having observed the high risk this can present. Essentially the game failing and not making any money, and then causing potential studio closures, layoffs, and so forth. So it's clear now that the whole SBI woke movement that's been going around has now become a problem. High profile games have failed, and people just haven't bought into the narrative that they want to sell, and this has now caused big games to fail. And companies are now seeing this, publishers are now seeing this, and the money that they're getting, the funding that they're getting for being pro DEI is just not worth it, and it's not covering the losses that they're incurring when the game monumentally fails to meet expectations or just simply fails to sell enough. At the end of the day, that is the aim of the game. All of these companies are businesses, and if you're doing something that's going to prevent the game from selling, well, you're kind of going against the whole nature of the beast. and as such, CI along with Arrowhead are now two companies that are basically saying, stop, we're not going to do it anymore. Arrowhead have basically said that if it's not adding to the game, we're not doing it. In this game, whatever game CI is making, they basically said, we're just not pandering for it. End of story. And if you don't like it, tough. But clearly the majority of the players don't want it. And we will cater for the majority rather than the minority. And I think that's the right approach. And as you can see inside the gaming, CI Games is the latest company to rebel against forced DEI, which a lot of people are rejoicing towards. So now we come to the comical part of the video, where J-Dub making it official. If Xbox game Gears of War hits PSN, it'll be the greatest year in the PlayStation history. They all want Xbox greatness. And here is J-Dub saying, apparently Gears of War collection is dropping day one. This went from Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is basically Gears of War 1, to the collection somehow. But anyway, that aside, he says, apparently Gears of War collection is dropping day one on PlayStation this year. 2025 is about to be the best year of gaming in history, at least for Nintendo and PlayStation gamers. So, as you can see here, J-Dub has officially confirmed that regardless of whether they can have Ghost of Yotei or any other PlayStation game out there, it pales in comparison to Gears of War. And as Gears of War nuts out there will see this and cherish J-Dub actually coming out and making this prolific statement, it's clear that PlayStation games have a lot to learn. And when you've got a super pro PlayStation fan saying that Gears on PlayStation in 2025 will make it the greatest, the best year of gaming in history, considering PlayStation has had 30 years of gaming of really high quality games, to think that none of them, in his own words, come even close to Gears of War's greatness is something to say. He's basically discounted Uncharted series, The Last of Us series, Stellar Blade, Spider-Man, everything you could possibly think of, Astro Bot, Ratchet and Clank, none of them come even close to the greatness that is Gears of War. Because he has said 2025 is about to be the best year of gaming in history for PlayStation. And only Xbox games can do that, as he says in his own words. We also have JTech TV here, who decided that living in the multiverse is where he wants to be, because apparently Halo, Gears and more are heading to Nintendo Switch 3 and PS5 in 2025. Now I don't know about you, but I'd like to see the Switch 2 before the Switch 3 arrives. But hey, JTech, if you actually do have the Switch 3 in your hands, or do get to see it, do post it. Just not like the way Genki did it, because now Nintendo are after him, but post it in a way that doesn't incriminate you, because I'm sure everyone would like to see the Switch 3, even if they haven't officially seen the Switch 2 yet. And finally, we come to Warhammer Dave, because, you know, any mocking post can't be complete without Warhammer Dave. Now, today's Phil Spencer's birthday, and as you can see here, XBG says today's the day, happy birthday Phil Spencer. And Warhammer Dave says, dude testified under oath in federal court Elder Scrolls 6 would be exclusive to Xbox. Now it's not, and everything going to PlayStation. He fooled y'all to make sure Xbox laughing stock of all gaming. Now the problem here is, that's not what he said. The problem here is, right, he said Elder Scrolls 6 is too far away to make a decision on. Those were his literal exact words. And it's such a shame that he can't even get his fact-checking right in order to actually troll correctly. So this guy has gone from an Xbox fan to an Xbox hater and now a failed troller. What can I say? It's just another strike in the misery of strikes that these guys get into. Well folks, that's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed the news and a little bit of the laughs at the end. But if you have, do consider hitting that like button, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. With pretty much on the way to 7,500 subs now. Well, hopefully we can get there by the end of the month. That's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. As always, remain legend.